I think before this episode, before the debate, we had another fight or argument, and she basically was like, I was like pleading to her, like, just throw in a strong girl, like throw in, like, like, do you really want to go to the final with Tori? Or like, I know she probably wasn't going to turn Desi, but like, just it's better for you. Like, this is the logical thing to do, is to take me to a final because you're probably going to beat me.
You had a killer rookie season here that we need to talk all about. I mean, 4 eliminations you went into, crazy. I don't know. How did you cope with being the target for so many weeks in the game?
I think I think having Chris there was really helpful because he was going through the same thing as me. And it was really nice to not feel like completely alone in that. And we kind of bolstered each other up and helped each other get through it. But I also think, like, I had a lot to say in the show. And like, even when I was down in the sand, I would like speak my mind. And, I think Desi at one point was like, oh, Cassie's always got some words, which was my way of coping with that, because I was just getting thrown in so many times. I had to be strong. And I had to I think by standing my ground, sticking up for myself, like saying what I needed to say, that allowed me to have the confidence going into these eliminations. And it just helped me. Like, I had to believe in myself because nobody else was going to. And if I didn't, I was not going to win any of these eliminations. So I think just like having that confidence and like not being afraid to speak my mind really helped me to kind of like get through that and to just like continue to believe in myself and to show the other players that like I'm not just a flop. Like I'm somebody who, can hold their own in this game. And I think that it was cool to be able to prove that. And that was just, yeah. So me just like, I don't know, it was tough, but I had to stay strong. And I think I did a decent job.
Yeah, you definitely did. And I have to say, I always loved when you got some words to say, because it spices things up, like we watch.
I mean, we are making a TV show, so
right.
Like your tongue all the time is just gonna be boring. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And I mean, jumping off that point too, it did force you, I guess, to play a little bit more defensively because you were in this position too. So how do you think your game would have been different had you not been in the crosshairs so many times? Because I'm sure it would have been a little bit different for you personally, obviously.
Yeah, I think, I mean, it wouldn't have been nearly as interesting, because I was going up against such strong women in these daily challenges that there wasn't like a huge shot that I was going to win a lot of them or any of them, which I didn't. And so I think if I hadn't been in the crosshairs so much and I hadn't had to go into so many eliminations, I wouldn't have done that much, and I wouldn't have been able to prove that I deserve to be here. And people probably would be questioning me going into the final. So like, I mean, if I had won the final, then great, who cares? Like, who questions me? But like,
right.
Having kind of like a mid-season and then going to the final, and like if I lost, like that just wasn't kind of the way I wanted my first season to go. I kind of wanted to make a splash in some way. And so I think I would have just been a more boring presence, I guess. So
that's definitely not what we want. We're watching a TV show, as you said. Come on. And I mean, jumping off that point too, what would things have looked like had you won that final challenge? I know you mentioned that you were involved in the daily challenges, but I wanted to know, like, who would you have thrown in with Chris there? What would it have looked like?
Oh my gosh. Ooh. I probably would have thrown in Michaela, just because she had been just like mean to me for the last few weeks, and just like, no, like, I don't know. I was just at that point in the game, I was just pretty upset with her, and it would have just been kind of nice revenge to be able to get on her. And maybe like tried to push for Tori or Desi to go against her just to get a strong player out. Because it's also because like she is so dominant physically that it would have been intimidating to go into a final with her. So I would have just tried to, whether it was Michaela or Tori or Desi, like I probably would have just tried to throw in a strong girl. They had all turned on me at that point. So it really was no skin off my back to like go after any of them. Mm-hmm. So I probably would have heard Chris out and what he thought, but probably just one of the strongest women, and tried to pit them against each other, as a little bit of revenge. That would have been nice, but yeah, that was not my challenge to win, man. I like on that balance beam, I thought they were going to show this, which I guess it's better they didn't, but it was funny. I get on the balance beam and I look down and my shoe's untied. And I was like, oh my God, this is this is so me.
Oh my God, out of all the places to have your shoe undone.
All the places, all the places. I lost my shoe the first challenge and I hurt my foot for like 2 weeks after because I was stepping all over rocks. And in the last challenge, I'm like, my shoe's untied out of the, 50, 60 feet in the air. So that was never, those circumstances, I was never going to win that challenge.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I would have been like freaking out before you even jumped onto the balance beam.
Oh my God, it was so scary. I literally watching the back, I'm like, it never does it justice, like watching it from home, but like out there, just, and also the night before, I actually went to elimination with Michelle the night before. Usually you get like a day off, but this was like, everything was like really fast paced in the last little bit of time. And so my arms were like, so just like drained from, using all of my upper body strength to like oppose Michelle.
Right. So
then I had to climb this ladder and that takes up a lot of upper body strength too. So by the time I got up to the hot air balloon, I almost like couldn't hold on. And I was like so scared that I was just gonna like, goodbye. I'm not gonna make it this far.
I commend you for even doing it though, because I would have been like, yeah, this is not my challenge. So no, thank you.
Yeah, like I just couldn't, I can't, the shame is what drove me through most of those challenges. The shame of not doing it and like having my brothers make fun of me or like just everyone online was really what drove me like
that'll push you to do some crazy things. So yeah. I wanted to jump back a little bit to what you said about Michaela, because that was one of my questions, was if there was any lingering drama there. You mentioned that she was like maybe mean to you. So like in what ways, what was that relationship like in the house?
Yeah, I think that she just doesn't have a lot of like respect for me. And that shows in the way that I think she dishes out respect like sparingly. You know what I mean? Like you have to really earn it with her. And like, I didn't appreciate how she, like the tact that she used, or I would say like the lack of tact. And like, when she would vote me in, she just like, there was like that one instance you saw on TV where she basically was like, I'm going to make it a girl's day. Like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make it a girl's day. And I just felt like that was like very like, there's just like, there wasn't a lot of compassion there, like for like what I was going through and like how many times I'd already fought. Like, you can do that. That's fine. If that's what's smart for your game, by all means, go behind my back and try to make it a girl's day. But like to say it to my face and like make me feel small.
You to be like okay with it too. It's like
yeah, it's like she works so logically. It's almost robotic to the point where you're like I don't know. I just don't understand her, and I don't think she understands me, and that's fine.
Were there any other instances in the house other than the one that we saw?
Yeah, I think before this episode, before the debate, we had another fight or argument, and she basically was like, I was like pleading to her, like, just throw in a strong girl, like throw in like, like, do you really want to go to the final with Tori? Or like, I know she probably wasn't going to turn Desi, but like, just it's better for you. Like, this is the logical thing to do, is to take me to a final because you're probably going to beat me. But she was like, I would rather work with people who like, well, I don't know. She just like was basically telling me that, God, I can't remember, but just like that she would much rather go to the end with strong women, rather than people like she didn't like or something. I don't even know. It was just like, just intense. I'm like, okay, Michaela, like we just can't.
So we don't lost there with
but also like so I felt pretty hurt by her, and so I was just like, whatever, like we're probably not going to be friends after this, which is okay with me. But then like she just has been dragging me at every opportunity on social media, or I'm sorry, like on podcasts and things, and I just don't know why she's so pressed about me still. Like, she's just taken every opportunity to like defame my character and drag me through the mud. So I don't really know what's going on with her. I don't care enough to like really go too much into detail about it, but
you had some drama with Chanelle too. She even called you a layup at one point. How did you feel hearing that, and what's the status of y'all's two relationship?
Yeah, I feel like that looks worse on her that she called me a layup. So yeah, I don't understand that. Like, it didn't offend me really, because I didn't look like a layup, and I wasn't a layup in the game. So like, that's fine. Like, I don't, I think she does kind of have like I don't know, like I think she did always see herself as like stronger than me and like a better player than me. Which is like, that's okay. Like, what if she feels that way? But I think she didn't give me a lot of room as far as like proving myself, or like actually acknowledging that maybe I am like a formidable player in this game somewhat. I mean, I'm not the strongest girl, you know, maybe I'm not the most strategic player, but I have some chops, you know. And I think with Chanelle, like I never was trying to make her look bad really. What I was doing when I called her out was trying to like appeal to the vets, and because they would always preach that you, like, as a rookie, you need to earn your stripes. You have, like, going into the elimination is how you prove yourself in this game. And so I was just trying to take the target off my back, and she had already betrayed me in the game, so I didn't really care about like calling her out. But if it had been anybody else in her position, like that hadn't gone into an elimination or won a daily, I would have said the same thing. Like, it wasn't because I thought she was weak. I just wanted them to maybe consider putting in somebody else who hasn't been in an elimination, because like I knew my Survivor Alliance was already toast. So I was like trying to appeal more to like the MTV challenge players. But you know, so like whatever, like me and Chanelle are not really that close anymore. I think like I don't know, like I think her and Michaela just don't like me, and they've like, I've heard like things that they've said about me after the show, and it's just like, I don't know, I don't really like to move like that, but I'm okay with us like not being friends. But I don't know. I didn't do anything personal to them besides maybe calling Chanelle out, which I think she took pretty personally, which is fair. But other than that, like, I like once the game's over, I'm like, let's call it what it is. Like, you guys made to the final. Like, why are we still? I don't know.
So you guys were friends going into this season, or did you guys even know?
I wouldn't say friends. Like, we didn't communicate a lot before the show, but I would say like we were friends through most of the game. I feel like we developed somewhat of a friendship. And I always like, you know, I always liked Chanelle. So I don't really know. I think maybe like, I think what ended up happening was like, you know, when I did call her out, I think it hurt her feelings that I had said that. And maybe she took it the more personally than I intended for her to. And so in that way, she was being defensive, like with like calling me a layup and all of that stuff, which is okay. But like, I don't really have anything against her.
Okay. And as we're winding down here, I wanted to ask, you know, at the beginning of the season, and this isn't even anything that really happened during the season, but after the season, I saw you on Twitter, you mentioned that you were taking a step back from Twitter because of obviously all the talk, and people always have a lot to say. But I wanted to know, have you been back? Because I feel like there are a lot of people who are rooting for you and had so many positive things to say about your journey, even like other challengers that I've seen, like Laurel, said like you're bringing back the OG vibes, which is such a plus for this. So like, have you seen the positive side of social media from you?
Yeah, I think like I never got my Twitter back. I was like planning on, you know, like maybe coming back, but I deactivated my account when I did that, and then I never like got back on in time so my Twitter's gone at this point. Like, it's deleted. It's not. So I'm probably not coming back to Twitter. But that's fine. Like I felt like I was putting, and this happened in Survivor, like I was putting too much weight in what people's opinions were of me online, and it was causing a lot of cognitive dissonance in me, like making me believe things about myself that I don't think are true. And so I just felt like it was a healthy move for me, especially when people hadn't even given me a chance on the challenge and were already coming at me. I was just like, this is just not good for my mental health. So I'm just gonna step away, like whatever, it's no big deal. And I just feel like online, like it's just kind of a lot of like, I really appreciate the support and love, but it's a bit of like fair weather friends in a way where it's like they could turn on me tomorrow, you know what I mean? So like, I don't know, I'm just trying not to like put too much weight in that, but I am really grateful for people that have like gone online and shared love and support for me. Like, obviously that means a lot. It feels really good. But I probably won't be back on Twitter just because I think it can get pretty toxic pretty quickly, and I don't know. It's not good.
Definitely know what you're saying. It's like sometimes a cesspool. So it's like,
you know, for sure.
Get your decision to like put your mental health first, which is the most important thing. So I don't blame you at all. And, you know, Cassie, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for answering my questions and taking the time. I appreciated it. And I loved watching you on the season.
Absolutely.
It was great to see
Thank you so much.